Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm about to get into this. I know that really too much don't matter, but I ain't gonna read too much of this. You know what I mean? You can get into it yourself, really. But I am gonna read a good amount of it so you can understand where y'all come from, cause y'all got a lot of things misconstrued. I'm telling you, all you gotta do is sit and read. I don't know what it is. Maybe a lot of I have come to the conclusion that a lot of people can't read. But if you can't read, then what you should do is go and listen to the audio, because they have recordings of them reading their book. So you don't really have to. You can go and listen to the audio. So it's really no excuse. People be coming up with their own and just mislead and trying to mislead people. And do y'all understand that they usually the ones that's the forefront? The misleaders be usually the ones that be forefronted. But you know, it's ways around certain shit. That's why. That's what I've been blessed with, because I know that my shit, my what I say won't be pushed forward. But you know, some people will get it and actually, catch on to it and give it to other people. So this is the Book of Judges. Now after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, who shall be first to go up for us against the Canaanites and fight against them? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up. Indeed, I have delivered the land into his hand. Judah said to Simon his brother, come up with me to my allotted territory, that we may fight against the Canaanites, and I will likewise go with you to your allotted territory. And Simon went with him. Then Judah went up, and the Lord delivered the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hand. And they killed 10,000 men at Bezek. And they found Adonai-Bezek in Bezek and fought against him. And they defeated the Canaanites and the Perizzites. Then Adonai-Bezek fled, and they pursued him and caught him and cut off his thumbs and big toes. And Adonai-Bezek said, 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes cut off used to gather scraps under my table, as I have done, so God has repaid me. Then they brought him to Jerusalem, and there he died. Now the children of Judah fought against Jerusalem and took it. They struck it with the edge of the sword and set the city on fire. And afterward the children of Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites, who dwelt in the mountains in the south and in the lowland. Then Judah went against the Canaanites who dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron was formerly Keret Arba. I don't know what that's in. And they killed Shishai, Ahaman, and Talmai. From there they went against the inhabitants of Debar. Then Caleb said, whoever attacks Kirjath Cipher and takes it, to him I will give my daughter Aksha as wife. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it. So he gave him his daughter Aksha as wife. Now it happened when she came to him that she urged him to ask her father for a field, and she dismounted from her donkey. And Caleb said to her, what do you wish? So she said to him, give me a blessing. Since you have given me land in the south, give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. Now the children of Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, went up from the city of palms with the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lies in the south near Arad. And they went and dwelt among the people. And Judah went with his brother Simon, and they attacked the Canaanites who inhabited Zebeth, and utterly destroyed it. So the name of the city was called Hermah. Also Judah took Gaza with its territories, Ashkelon with its territories, and Ekron with its territories. So the Lord was with Judah, and they drove out the mountaineers, but they could not drive out the inhabitants of the lowland, because they had chariots of iron. And they gave Hebron to Caleb, as Moses had said. Then he expelled from there the 3 sons of Anak. But the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jezebites who inhabited Jerusalem. So the Jezebites dwell with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem to this day. Now you see that right there? That was the issue. That's what you call renegade Jews. But let's keep going. And the house of Joseph also went up against Bethel, and the Lord was with them. So the house of Joseph sent men to spy out Bethel. And when the spies saw a man coming out of the city, they said to him, please show us the entrance to the city. We will show you mercy. So he showed them the entrance to the city, and they struck the city with the edge of the sword. But they let the man and all his family go. And the man went to the land of the Hittites, built a city, and called its name Luz, which is its name to this day. However, Manasseh did not drive out the inhabitants of Beth and Sheen and its villages, or Tanuk and its villages, or the inhabitants of Dor and its villages, and the inhabitants of Ablam and its villages, or the inhabitants of Megiddo and its villages, for the Canaanites were determined to dwell in that land. And it came to pass when Israel was strong that they put the Canaanites under tribute, but did not completely drive them out. Nor did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites who dwelt in Gezer. So the Canaanites dwelt in Gezer among them. Nor did Zebulun drive out the inhabitants of Cutran, or the inhabitants of Nahal. So the Canaanites dwelt among them. Nor did Asher. This is just specifically saying that the one that went and fought against the Canaanites were the Judeans, but the rest of the tribes the house of Joseph also went up against Bethel, but they didn't completely drive them out. See, the only ones that drove out the Canaanites was the Judites, and every other tribe dwelt with them in the land of Canaan. All right, now, and the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountains, for they would not allow them to come down to the valley. And the Amorites were determined to dwell in Mount Heres, and Alagon, and Shalbium. Yet when the strength of the house of Joseph became greater, they were put under tribute. Now the boundary of the Amorites was from the accent of Akrabim and Selah and upward. All right, what's this chapter 2? Yeah, we're gonna keep going. See, look, yeah, see, this is it right here. This is showing you the tribes and the Moors in Canaan, or what we call modern day Europe. And you got this shows how people became renegade Jews and actually mixed in with the Canaanites, and how the Judeans went when they had to flee. But we're gonna keep going. Then the angel of the Lord came up to Giggle and Brotram and said, I led you from Egypt and brought you to the land of which I swore to your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you. And you will make no covenant with the inhabitants of this land. You shall tear down their altars, but you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you not done this? Therefore, I also said, I will not drive them out before you. Now listen. You have not tore down their altars. You understand what I mean? When I say like spit on the Christian cross, yeah, you have not tore down the altars. Let me keep going. You have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this? Therefore, I also said, I will not drive them out before you, but they shall be thorns in your side, and their gods shall be a snare to you. So it was when the angel of the Lord spoke these words to all the children of Israel that the people lifted up their voices and wept. Then they called the name of the place Bochim, and they sacrificed there to their Lord. And when Joseph had dismissed the people, the children of Israel went each to his own inheritance to possess the land. So the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders who outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord, which he had done for Israel. Now Joseph, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died when he was 110 years old, and they buried him within the border of his inheritance at Timnah Heres, in the mountains of Ephraim. See how it's always in the mountains? They always in the mountains. That's because they was in the Caucasus Mountains. The Canaanites, the Canaan, the land of Canaan or Caucasus is that is the land of Canaan. Mountains of, and on the north side of Mount Gosh, when all that generation had been gathered to their fathers, another generation arose after them, who did not know the Lord, nor the work which he had done for Israel. Then the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baal. And they forsake the Lord God of their fathers, who had brought them out of the land of Egypt. And they follow other gods from among the gods for the people who were all around them, and they bowed down to them, and they provoked the Lord to anger. They forsake the Lord and served Baal and Azaroth. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, so he delivered them into the hands of plunderers who despoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies all around, so that they could no longer stand before their enemies. Wherever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them, for calamity, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn to them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges who delivered them out of the hands of those who plundered them. Yet they would not listen to their judges, but they played the harlot with other gods and bowed down to them. They turned quickly from the way in which their fathers walked, in obeying the commandments of the Lord. They did not do so. And when the Lord raised up judges for them, the Lord was with them, the judge, and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For the Lord was moved to pity by their groaning because of those who oppressed them and harassed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they reverted and behaved more corruptly than their fathers, by following other gods to serve them and bow down to them. They did not cease from their own doing, nor from their stubborn way. Then the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he said, because this nation has transgressed my covenant which I commanded their fathers, and has not heeded my voice, I also will no longer drive out before them any of the nations which Joshua left when he died, so that though them I may test Israel, whether they will keep the ways of the Lord, to walk in them as their fathers kept them, or not. Therefore the Lord left those nations without driving them out immediately, nor did he deliver them into the hand of Joshua. Now these are the nations which the Lord left, that he might test Israel by them. That is, all who had not known any of the wars in Canaan. This was only so that generations of the children of Israel might be taught to know war, at least those who had not formerly known it. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, all Canaanites, the Sidonians, the Hivites, who dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Bel Hermon, the entrance to Hamath, and they were left that he might test Israel by them, to know whether they would obey the commandments of the Lord, which he had commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. Thus the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and they served their gods. So the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God, and served the Baals and Azaroths. Therefore the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Cushian Rizamith, king of Mesopotamia, which was more than likely the Arabics. And the children of Israel served Cushian for 8 years. When the children of Israel cried out to the Lord raised up a deliverer for the children of Israel, who delivered them, Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel, and he went out to war. And the Lord delivered Cushian Rishathim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand, and his hand prevailed over Cushian Rishathim. So the land had rest for 40 years. Then Othniel, the son of Kenaz, died, and the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord strengthened Eglon, king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. Then he gathered to himself the people of Ammon and Amalek, went and defeated Israel and took possession of the city of palms. So the children of Israel served Eglon, king of Moab, 18 years. But when the children of Israel cried out to the Lord raised up a deliverer to them, Ehud, the son of Gar, the Benjamite, a left-handed man. By him, the children of Israel sent tribute to Eglon, of king of Moab. Now Ehud made himself a dagger. It was double-edged and a cubit in length, and fastened it under his clothes on his right thigh. So he brought the tribute to Eglon, the king of Moab. Now Eglon was a very fat man, and when he had finished presenting the tribute, he sent away the people who had carried the tribute, but he himself turned back from the stone images that were at Gilgal and said, I have a secret message for you, O king. He said, keep silence. And all who attended him went out from him. And Ehud came to him. Now he was sitting upstairs in his cool private chamber. Then Ehud said, I have a message from God for you. So he arose from his seat. Then Ehud reached from his left hand, took the dagger from his right thigh, and thrust it into his belly. Even the hilt went in after the blade, and the fat closed over the blade, for he did not draw the dagger out of his belly, and his entrails came out. Then Ehud went out through the porch and shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. When he had gone out, Eglon's servants came to look, and to their surprise, the doors of the upper room were locked. So they said, he is probably attending to his needs in the cool chamber. So they waited till they were embarrassed, and still he had not opened the doors of the upper room. Therefore they took the key and opened them, and there was their master fallen dead on the floor. But he had escaped while they delayed, and passed beyond the stone images, and escaped to Sarah. And it happened when he arrived that he blew the trumpet in the mountains of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mountains, and he led them. Then he said to them, follow me, for the Lord has delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hands. So they went down after him, seized the fords of the Jordan leading to Moab, and did not allow anyone to cross over. So now you can see the difference between a Moor and a Moabite. There's two different people, two different headaches. At that time they killed about 10,000 men of Moab, all stout men of valor. Not a man escaped. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest for 80 years. After him was Shechmar, the son of Anah, who killed 600 men of the Philistine with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. Judges, the book of Judges, man. It's very, very good. If you not read, you'll read. Let me see.